Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. It is Friday, January 17th. I'm Michael Taylor. Welcome to our program. Are you ready for the weekend? It's going to be a cool one. We'll talk about that in the weather. But right now, let's talk about what we have on the show, and that's going to be a good one. We got, from AmeriCare, we're going to welcome Jonathan Brimley. It is a senior home care service company that they have, and then we're going to talk about what the services they have and how it might benefit you to be able to stay in your home instead of having to go off to a facility or a care facility, something like that. And then later in the program, you know him, you love him, Sports Corner with Cole Young. All right, we're going to enjoy that one too. Right now, we want to talk about our broadband service. We had that effect on January 5th where the equipment went out a little bit, but all channels are back. So if you're still experiencing some trouble getting your channels on there, make sure you do a channel scan on your television to get those channels back. If you have any questions or concerns, go to your digital channel guide on Laguna Woods Village to see which channels you're supposed to be having and what channel those are on. If you're having continued issues, go ahead and email Resident Services. Email's there on your screen, residentservices@vmsinc.org. If you have any more questions or concerns. The team's been working on this. They are very sorry about the interruption. The equipment has been fixed for now, and hopefully everything's going to be back, and they're addressing it as best they can. Let's take a check on our weather. And we got some cool temperatures coming up for this weekend and us. We got 60 degrees today, then we got 65 on Saturday. Then we dropped down to 59 on Sunday. Really cool. That's going to be the high on Sunday, believe it or not. And then we got mid-60s for the rest of the week. Let's take a look at our sunrise and sunset. Anybody into skiing? Mammoth? I haven't been up there for years. PJ was up there recently. He sent us this picture. It's a beautiful, beautiful shot of how clear it is in the mountains and the snow. It's very fun. Haven't been there for a while. Would love to go back. Sunrise this morning is 6:54. Sunset tonight is going to be 5:07. If you've gone anywhere fun recently, we want to see a picture from you, or a nice sunrise, sunset, anything around here in the village you think, hey, this will make a good shot, well, send it to us. Email lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Make sure you include your name, where you took the picture, and we will use it in our sunrise, sunset segment. Okay, we got a couple of meetings to tell you about. Then when we come back, we'll be talking with AmeriCare's Jonathan Brimley. Stay with us.
As we get older, sometimes we need a little extra care. We can stay independent and in our own homes with the right care. Care to eat our favorite meal. Care to look our best. Care to stay active. Care to look after our pets. Find personalized in-home care at AmeriCareBeachCities.com.
AmeriCare Beach Cities is a personalized senior in-home service that lets folks live in the comfort of their own home. I want to welcome from AmeriCare Beach Cities, I want to welcome CEO Jonathan Brimley. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Michael.
So I gave a little intro there, but tell us a little bit about the whole company and what it does for folks and what it maybe doesn't do as well.
Sure. We are a full solutions provider, meaning we just don't do in-home care. People will call me and ask me questions. Sometimes I go and visit a home and we'll explain to them after we get talking about their issues or problems, okay, well, here's what I can offer, here's what I don't do, and here's what you really need. So it could be they need hospice care. I've been with someone all night long until they passed away because that's what they really needed. They didn't need in-home care. We do offer in-home services as our primary line of business, but we're really here to be a solutions provider to those who are aging.
Now, the holidays recently, and a lot of times this is times where kids go and see their parents or maybe grandparents, and they don't visit them that often, and they say, oh man, I think mom or dad needs a little more help around the house. Are a lot of your clients come from relatives? Say, hey, when do I get this service in for mom and dad?
I would probably say about 80% of the time it's a call from a daughter, daughter-in-law, sometimes a son, who are they care about their mom or dad, or sometimes it's a grandchild, sometimes it's a friend, but it's usually a daughter or daughter-in-law calling and saying, hey, I noticed my mom needs some help. And we'll have a discussion. And okay, well, what's going on at home? And get to a point where, okay, yep, you do need in-home care, or no, she needs to do something different that I can't offer.
Okay. So for AmeriCare Beach Services, beach cities rather, when you guys go into the home, what are some of the things you assess? What are some of the things that you say, okay, these are the things that we know we can provide for you, or this isn't going to work, or something like that?
We'll probably start with, even before I get into the home, it's a conversation about what's going on and what are their preferences. If you do need, for example, if they are really looking for in-home care, do they have pets in the house? If they're looking for care, do they prefer a male or female caregiver? Because what happens is, I just don't come into the home. I bring a potential caregiver with me. And I want to bring someone that potential primary caregiver could potentially work out. So I know my caregivers, I've interviewed them all, I've hired every single one of them. So I know if they're allergic to dairy, or if they are allergic to cats or dogs. I'm not going to take them to a home that has a bunch of cats and dogs. It has to work both ways.
It's not just in care, it's not just somebody at the house, but are there also like doctor services, prescription services, things like that you guys can also provide in terms of helping seniors who maybe can't get out as much anymore, or really can't make it to 3 or 4 doctor's appointments?
Sure, and it's what we call our chauffeur service, where we do transportation, and it could be to doctors, it could be to shopping, maybe it's going out to lunch with the friends, maybe to a movie. It's helping them get out of the house, could be go to the gym, but getting them out of their routine and getting back to their life that they used to have, or they want to have.
Now, speaking of routines, recently a lot of people's routines got disrupted with the fires, and one of the things I would imagine is for seniors in senior facilities or people living at home, kids, relatives were very concerned about mom or dad. How are we going to get them out of there? People may be flying out to help them move, and the fact that they weren't as mobile as other people who could evacuate on the spot. What are some of the concerns that would come up with something like that?
Well, the number one goal of our company is to keep people safe.
Right.
And that can be safe from falls, is what most people consider. Oh, my mom can't walk very well, or my dad's in a wheelchair and I can't lift him out, or I'm afraid about slipping in the bathtub or shower. So we keep them safe throughout the day while we're there. We can keep them safe by making sure they're doing their medication management properly. We can keep them safe by helping them do their exercises. We can keep them safe from scamming. We see a lot of elder abuse, and it's financial abuse, sometimes it's physical abuse, but having a caregiver in the home can keep them safe from all of these different aspects. We also, we mentioned the fires. We can help get someone out of the home in case of emergency. And unfortunately, we've seen in these fires, there are some people who've passed away because they didn't get out of their house because they couldn't. Not because they wanted to stay and keep their house from burning. They physically could not get out of their home. It's a tragedy.
Right.
Because they didn't have someone there who could help them.
Your service also provides some peace of mind, because like if I'm living in Arizona and mom's in a disaster area, I don't want to fly into a disaster area to try to get in there to get somebody out and take all that time. So there's a little bit of peace of mind knowing that somebody's there going to be able to take care of that person.
Absolutely. In fact, I was just on a call earlier this morning with some other AmeriCare owners, and they're talking about Hurricane Milton. And they had a caregiver come in to their home because the client wanted to stay in the house, didn't want to leave during hurricane. A tree actually ended up falling on the house, breaking the house in two, basically, right in the middle of the living room, and that caregiver was there all night long with that person.
Wow.
And so next day, EMT comes, fire department comes, and they say, oh, you have this handled. We actually need to take care of others who are in a life-threatening situation. You are caring for this person. Great job, keep on doing it. Fantastic. So that's the type of service that someone, if there's a caregiver in the house, they're going to stay there until the very end.
Now, people always say have that go bag ready, have an emergency stay-at-home kit kind of going on, and this is maybe something that caregivers can help with seniors do in terms of what some of the needs might be.
Right. So someone will have a lot of stuff in the house, but they may not have it all ready. Mm-hmm. And we've heard so many stories over the last week or two of these fires about people leaving their home, running away, and they are leaving with the shirt on their back, literally. Mm-hmm. They don't have a change of clothes. They don't have a change of underwear. They don't have a pillow or a blanket. Forget about important documents. They have nothing.
Right.
They weren't prepared.
Some of those stay-at-home kits are going to be a gallon of water. Make sure you have at least a gallon for every day you think you're going to be home. Food, 3-day supply. Prescription medication, 3-day supply ahead of time. A whistle, which would be important in case there's, again, people who aren't mobile have to just blow that whistle, let them know where they are in the house and things like that. Cell phone battery charge, battery-powered radio, things like that. And those are all things that, you guys can help with the folks, the seniors to help provide for them, right?
Well,
Make sure they have those. Right. Make sure they have them in the house.
Right. We don't sell any of this.
Didn't mean to say it that way.
But we can help them gather it into a bag. Mm-hmm. In case, and whether a caregiver is in the house during an emergency or not, they are prepared. They have a bag they can roll or a backpack on their back. And when they leave, they have some things from home, mm-hmm. Whether it's some comfort items or important documents.
Right, so that would be the evacuation kit. Would be like using 1 or 2 bottles of water, some breakfast bar, comfort foods, things like that would be some ideal things for them to have in terms of if it is go time, in terms of like, hey, the evacuation order is here and we need to get on the move.
Yes.
Yeah. And how important is that to communicate to a senior who sometimes folks, I don't want to leave my home, right? And some people can, and it's important to have that caregiver there to talk to them through that, like, hey, if this happens, we have to do this, and have that communication. Because I know some folks can be, oh, my mom or dad, they're so stubborn. They say they want to stay. They say they don't want to go anywhere.
Well, that's fantastic. And we don't want these emergencies to happen.
No, of course not.
Right. But I'm a former Boy Scout. I'm an Eagle Life Scout, Eagle Scout, and the motto of a Boy Scouts is be prepared. Mm-hmm. That's what this is about. Just be prepared. If emergency never happens, fantastic. But you have the peace of mind I talk about, mm-hmm. that in case anything happens, and I have to evacuate, whether it be for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, I have the important documents, I have a change of clothes, I have emergency contact information, I have some medicine, I can go someplace if I absolutely have to, mm-hmm. and feel like I just have lost absolute everything.
Right. And those documents are important. We're finding out from a lot of people who did lose their homes. They don't, in terms of their tax information, bank information, if there's a power of attorney that's needed, things like that, they're just things that, can be hard to replace or get if they don't have it in their hands. And medical information about prescriptions and dosages and copies of medical insurance and all of those things are great things to make sure you have in a go bag or one kind of area that we can just grab and go as well.
Right. And these aren't typically the original versions. They're
right.
copies.
These are copies.
And we want to have those copies in hand in case we do end up evacuating.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this as we wrap up here. This is a business that takes a lot of care and a lot of empathy and a lot of understanding. What made you want to kind of go into this business? And what is it about you that says, this is the kind of service I want to provide?
Probably it's 2 reasons. And it's for my mom, who married to my dad for 58 years. He passed away. Now she's living alone. She's never lived alone in her life. Mm. And she needed care. She fell, she broke her leg, now she's in the hospital. So she needed care, and I was the power of attorney, mm-hmm. and I just couldn't find another an in-home care agency that could really fit the needs that she had. And so we ended up finding someone, not in a friend, to come and live with her, because we couldn't find an agency that fit the needs she had. So I wanted to fit those needs. The second reason is because of our caregivers. My prior career, I was an executive at IBM for 30 years. And what I enjoyed probably most is coaching our young people, those in their 20s and 30s, and helping them grow their careers and giving them advice. And all these caregivers are great people. They don't make a lot of money. So they need some help. And I'm here to help them. So it's just a two fit. Help people who need care in the home and help caregivers with their careers.
Well, that's why it's called AmeriCare. All right, from AmeriCare Beach Cities, I want to thank Jonathan Brimley, CEO and owner of the company. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Michael.
Thank you. You're watching This Day. We'll be right back with Sports Corner.
I've devoted my career as a physician to one thing: ending cancer. At City of Hope, where more than 1,600 cancer specialists work towards breakthrough discoveries every day, we're beating national cancer survival rates. And though I'm proud to be part of revolutionizing care here in Orange County, what I'm most proud of is giving you hope.
Welcome back to another Friday edition of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young, and we're in the heart of the playoffs for football, so I'll get right into it. To start, I figured I would recap the wild card round of the NFL. Starting last Saturday, the Los Angeles Chargers traveled to Houston to face the AFC South winning Texans. It was a low-scoring first half, and with 58 seconds remaining, the Chargers were holding on to a 6-0 lead. In Houston's first 5 drives, they fumbled once, C.J. Stroud threw an interception, and the Texans were forced to punt 3 times. It was not a great start for Houston. The tide shifted with 5 minutes remaining in the half. C.J. Stroud led the Texans on an impressive 99-yard drive, which ended with a 13-yard touchdown pass to Nico Collins, and the Texans took a 7-6 lead. Houston also managed to squeeze in a field goal right before halftime to bring the score to 10-6. The second half is when the floodgates opened. 3 second-half interceptions thrown by Justin Herbert, including one for a touchdown, dug the Chargers into a deep hole. One bright spot of the second half for the Chargers was the 86-yard touchdown pass from Herbert to Ladd McConkey, but overall, the deficit was just too large to overcome. Houston held on to upset the Chargers 32-12. Herbert finished the day with 4 interceptions to just 1 touchdown pass and was sacked 4 times by the Texans' swarming pass rush. The Texans move on to the divisional round for the 6th time, while they'll try to advance to the AFC Championship game for the first time in franchise history. But in their way stands top-ranked reigning champ Kansas City Chiefs, who are fresh off of their first-round bye. In the later slate on Saturday, the Baltimore Ravens dominated their rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers, in every sense of the term. The Ravens jumped out to a 21-0 lead before halftime behind the most dominant running game in the NFL with the combination of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Jackson picked up 81 yards on the ground, as well as 2 passing touchdowns. Derrick Henry continued to prove he's one of the greatest running backs in NFL history, as he ran for a whopping 186 yards and 2 touchdowns, some of which included his signature stiff arm. Baltimore outrushed Pittsburgh 299-29. Russell Wilson made the scoreboard look respectable with 2 late-game touchdown passes, but the Ravens remained in control all game on their way to a 28-14 win and a ticket to the divisional round. In that next round, the Ravens are set to face the Buffalo Bills in what will probably be the game of the year. Buffalo made it to this point after their 31-7 win over the Denver Broncos on Sunday morning. The Broncos jumped out to a quick start when Bo Nix connected with fellow rookie and former college teammate Troy Franklin on a 43-yard touchdown strike. This was the first rookie-to-rookie touchdown pass in NFL history, and the Broncos were quickly up 7-0. Unfortunately for Denver, this would be the only points they would score for the remainder of the day. MVP frontrunner, quarterback Josh Allen, completed 20 of 26 passes for 272 yards and 2 touchdowns, while also rushing for 46 yards. James Cook dominated the run game for Buffalo, tacking up 120 yards and a touchdown as the Bills literally ran past the Broncos for their spot in the divisional round. Cook became Buffalo's first player to top 100 yards rushing in a playoff game since Hall of Famer Thurman Thomas had 158 yards rushing in a 1995 wildcard playoff win over Miami. Allen increased his playoff total to 23 passing touchdowns, breaking the franchise record of 21 held by Hall of Famer Jim Kelly. The rest of the weekend was occupied by the NFC. In the matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and Green Bay Packers, the Packers got off to a nightmare start when Keyshawn Nixon fumbled the opening kickoff after taking a huge hit by Philadelphia's Oren Burks. Philly recovered and scored 3 plays later, taking a very quick 7-0 lead. After swapping some field goals, the Packers finally got on the board after back-to-back tough runs by Packers running back Josh Jacobs. The score sat at 19-10 with the Eagles in the lead, but it was anyone's game. Unfortunately for Green Bay, Philadelphia would kick one more field goal, but that would be the end of the scoring for the Eagles, and they would hold on to win 22-10. Saquon Barkley led the way with 116 rushing yards, and Jalen Hurts threw for 2 scores to secure the Eagles' spot in the divisional round. The Eagles now had to wait until Monday night to see who they would be facing in the next round. Before that happened, though, we had an electric shootout between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Washington Commanders on Sunday night. Both teams swapped touchdowns and field goals and punts and turnovers, and amidst all the chaos, the score remained tied at 10-10 at halftime. Baker Mayfield threw his first touchdown of the night to Mike Evans in the second quarter, then tossed his second to Bucky Irving to take a 17-13 lead in the third quarter. With just under 12 minutes remaining in the game, the Bucs had the lead and the ball. All they needed to do was drain the clock and score one more time, and the game was just about out of reach for the Commanders. However, disaster struck when an apparent miscommunication led to Mayfield fumbling the snap, and the Commanders would recover. Just 4 plays later, rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels tossed his second touchdown of the game, this time to Terry McLaurin, to put the Commanders in front 20-17. With just 4 minutes remaining in the game, the Bucs put together a solid drive of their own and kicked the game-tying field goal. This is when Jaden Daniels would shine. Daniels led the Commanders on a 10-play drive that ate up all the remaining time on the clock. With 3 seconds left, kicker Zane Gonzalez set up for a 37-yard field goal. The kick went up, loudly clanged off the right upright, but bounced in between the goalposts and sent the sidelines into a frenzy as the Commanders beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 23-20 in an NFC wildcard game for the franchise's first playoff win in 6,945 days. The last time Washington won a playoff game was in 2005, when, coincidentally, they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the wildcard round 17-10. The Commanders now are headed to Detroit to take on the top-ranked Lions. Lastly, to end the wildcard weekend, the Los Angeles Rams faced off with the Minnesota Vikings in Glendale, Arizona on Monday night. This game was moved from LA due to the devastating wildfires that have run rampant throughout the LA area. The Rams channeled all that sorrow and uncertainty into a dominant defensive performance, sacking Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold an NFL playoff record-tying 9 times to win 27-9. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford threw 2 touchdown passes, and the Rams looked comfortable from pretty much the first snap. LA drove for a touchdown on the opening drive and built a 10-0 lead by the end of the first quarter. The most exciting play of the game came in the second quarter when Rams defensive backs sacked Darnold and the ball popped loose. Rookie edge rusher Jared Verse scooped it up and ran 57 yards for a Rams defensive touchdown. The Rams dominated every aspect of this game, and their efforts now propel them into the divisional round. Here's the NFL schedule for this weekend. On Saturday, the Texans and Chiefs will get the weekend started at 1:30 p.m. on ESPN. Following that game, the Commanders and Lions will kick off at 5 p.m. on Fox. Then, on Sunday, the Rams and Eagles will get the action started at noon on NBC. To end the divisional round, we'll see the Ravens and Bills at 3:30 p.m. on CBS. Enjoy all of these highly anticipated matchups to see what the final 4 remaining teams will be for the conference championships next weekend. In the college football playoffs, only 2 teams remain: Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State cruised to wins of 14-plus points over Tennessee, Oregon, and Texas to make the title game, while Notre Dame beat Indiana, Georgia, and Penn State on its path. Now these college football powerhouses will go head-to-head with a chance at history on the line after playing each other in the regular season the last 2 years. Ohio State only had 2 losses this season to Michigan and Oregon, but have absolutely ran through teams since their loss to Michigan. Notre Dame's only loss was an early, down-to-the-wire upset by Northern Illinois, but since then, the Irish have been on a relentless winning streak. Both teams have 2 of the top-ranked defenses in the nation. Ohio State claims the top spot for the best defensive leader in college football. The Buckeyes led the nation in points allowed with just 12.2 points per game, and in yards allowed with only 251.1 per game. Additionally, the team has a recorded 51 total sacks, which ranks 3rd in the country. Notre Dame's not far behind, boasting an impressive defense. The Fighting Irish rank number 2 in points allowed with 14.3 points per game, and number 9 in yards allowed with 298.3 yards per game. While their 38 total sacks ranked 17th nationally, their disciplined and aggressive play has made them a tough opponent for opposing offenses. Despite their defensive prowesses, Both teams possess dynamic offenses as well. Ohio State quarterback Will Howard has thrown for 3,779 yards, with star freshman receiver Jeremiah Smith being his favorite target. Notre Dame's Riley Leonard has also been a standout, tallying 2,606 passing yards and 866 rushing yards. Running back Jeremiah Love leads the team with 1,121 yards, and all this to say this will be a back-and-forth chess match battle of top defenses and talented offenses. The national championship game kicks off on Monday, January 20th at 4:30 p.m. on ESPN. I think I've made my case as to why this is one of the most important weekends in football, so don't miss out on any of the action starting tomorrow with the NFL playoffs and ending on Monday with the conclusion to the college football season. Come right back next week for more news, updates, and highlights from all around the sports world, as I'll try to cover some things out of the realm of football. Anyways, as always, thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.
Hi, my name is Dr. Faramant. Brilliant Smile has been the premier dental office of Laguna Woods Village for over 30 years now. We take the extra time to understand our patients' unique needs. We truly care about your happiness and dental wellness. We always provide the absolute highest quality of dental work at very affordable prices in a very relaxing environment. Stop by or give us a call and experience the Brilliant Smile difference. We are conveniently located close to Gate 6.
And welcome back. Let's talk movies. We got some good ones lined up for Friday and Saturday, so hope you enjoy them. The first one's going to be Lady Bird. That's today. It's from 2017, and it's brought to us by Pacific Financial Planners. And it's going to be on 2 p.m. with the subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. This is a quirky comedy about a fiercely independent teenager tries to make her own way in the world while wanting to get out of her hometown of Sacramento and to get away from her complicated mother and recently unemployed father. So that's a good one. It's a great movie. Actually, it was up for Best Picture back in 2017, so I hope you enjoyed that one. Then on Saturday, we've got another one for you. It came out this last year, and it's called Skincare with Elizabeth Banks. It is brought to us by RadNet. It's going to be on 2 p.m. with the subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. It's inspired by a true story. Famed esthetician Hope Goldman's skin business faces sabotage when rival Angela Vergara opens a boutique across the street. Aided by her friend Jordan, Hope seeks to uncover who's trying to ruin her reputation. Sounds like a fun thriller and based on a true story, so enjoy that one. Let's take a quick check of our weather before we head out, and it's going to be pretty nice today. We got temperatures topping out at 60 degrees for us today. Then we're going to bump up to 65 and 59 on Sunday. Very cool on Sunday. 65 for Monday and Tuesday, so about mid-60s for, as we get into the rest of the week, but a cool weekend for us for sure. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of This Day. Saturday on the program, we're going to be welcoming Old Pros and Boomers Club to the program, so stay tuned for that one. That's going to do it for this edition of This Day. For all of us here at Village Television, we hope to make this day a great one.